Hello, welcome to HITC Sport, and yeah, I know this is my last ever week at HITC Sport. I mean, you all know it by now. Next Monday, I'm doing football content on my own channel. You know, football origins, the skits, everything. But I'm still here for the next few days, alright? So, let's just try and crawl to the finish line. Alright, if I was a Manchester United fan, then this morning, I would be smearing ketchup in my eye. Honestly, you don't want to watch those Manchester United players ever again, surely not. I mean, you've been burnt too badly. The same way I don't want to ever again see another VHS tape of my mother giving birth to me in the Morrison's car park. Listen, Manchester United, they've lost derbies before, yes, but none of them have been quite as unequivocally shameful and unforgivable as this. I mean, let's just nip the first talking point in the bud. People are saying,
injury? Oh, does he though? Something doesn't add up.
Price of Roy Keane is acting like Inspector Morse. I mean, no, this isn't a game of Cluedo. Not everything is a big conspiracy. He is a 37-year-old man. Yes, he gets injured. I mean, apparently the biggest clue that Manchester United are lying to the public is because apparently Ronaldo's sister liked an Instagram post saying that he wasn't injured. I'm sorry, so why is this important? I didn't even know Ronaldo had a goddamn sister. I mean, unlike Neymar, it's not as if he advertises it on his tie. I mean, she might not even know if he's injured or not. I mean, what, you're thinking whenever Ronaldo pulls his groin, he suddenly gets on the phone to talk to his next of kin? I mean, I've got a sister. I haven't spoken to her in about 3 goddamn years, and she probably doesn't even know that I'm setting up my own football channel next week. What makes you think that Ronaldo's sister has got her brother's medical history all on file? But this story, it's not that Ronaldo was absent. No, it's that Manchester United players were hopeless. Praise God, that was the 17th time they've lost to Man City in 15 years. I mean, come on, the second half of this derby was unforgivable. I'm gonna call it now. Bruno Fernandes is a myth. Honestly, this guy's like the Banshee from Sligo. Give it 20 years and people will be asking, did he ever really exist? Listen, I'm not gonna sit here and call this guy a poor player. I'm not saying that he's John Joe Shelby in a wig. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and demonstrate that I've got the footballing knowledge of wet sandpaper by just trying to pretend that he's got the natural footballing ability of chewed up Frosties. But, can we please talk about what an utter horror season this man is having? Let's not forget, his season started with a hat-trick against Leeds. I mean, Christ, back in August, in the fantasy football stakes, it was a toss-up between whether you captained him or Mo Salah, right? I mean, the narrative was that this guy in the Manchester United shirt was a Portuguese wizard so surely destined for Real Madrid, and people were trying to compare him with Kevin De Bruyne. I think it's time we wake up and realise he's overrated. And let's be honest, he's going to end his Manchester United career with less of a legacy than Nani, because at least Nani managed to win stuff. Look, last season he scored 28 goals and registered 17 assists. Yes, but I mean that was phenomenal work. Yeah, but now 9 goals and 6 assists in the Premier League. I mean, this man was hailed as an all-action midfield king, the modern-day equivalent of Frank Lampard. No. This season, he can mostly be found whinging on the pitch. Honestly, this man lives in the referee's ear. I mean, I've heard people tip him for the captain's armband. I mean, sure, if you want your captain to be wailing like a 4-year-old child who's just seen his Buzz Lightyear toy confiscated by the teacher. I mean, listen, I get that some footballers are late bloomers, but Bruno, in 2 years, he's going to turn 30 years of age. Then why were the 2 biggest moves of his career to Sampdoria and Sporting Lisbon? Why did nobody else want to sign him when he was 24? Yeah, listen, I get that he ripped up Portuguese football and had utterly monster stats for Sporting Lisbon, but it didn't take them very long to replace him, because Pedro Goncalves, you know, the former Wolves misfit, he's probably done an even better job than Bruno. I mean, apparently when signing him from Sporting Lisbon, Manchester United had to wrestle him away from both Real Madrid and Tottenham. 2 clubs, 2 very different levels, just ask Gareth Bale. I mean, had Bruno gone to the Bernabeu, he might have been okay. You know, as an attacking midfielder, sure, you could have the work rate of a crippled number 10 and still excel for a team with dominant possession. I mean, good Christ, Mesut Ozil hasn't performed an actual sprint since 2003. I mean, the poor fella probably gets a stitch when reaching for the remote. And yet he was able to be a Real Madrid demigod, but he was also bordering on world class. Bruno, I don't even think is a better player than peak Rafa van der Vaart. And again, he was nothing special at Real Madrid either. But lads, if he had been sold to Tottenham, oh, then have fun looking like the Portuguese Eric Lamela, or you know, just Giovanni Lo Celso with a beard. Because honestly, asking Bruno to dig in and fight for the cause when the going gets tough, you need a leader, like someone like Aragorn to lead you into battle. And now instead, Bruno is about as threatening as the fat goblin of Monsters Inc. I mean, when was the last time he turned up in a truly big game for the club? I always remember that Champions League winner bust trip to RB's Leipzig. And honestly, he was about as much use as a piss-stained frog, but my biggest grievance from the game is that nobody ran. In that second half, everyone just gave up. In a Manchester derby. They didn't even give up that much when they lost 6-1 at home. I'm sorry, what was Ralph Rangnick's game plan? Why are you travelling to the Etihad with a 4-4-2 with the two centre forwards being Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes? I'm sorry, two box-to-box number 8s, and you're suddenly trying to turn them into the modern day York and Cole. Christ, Pogba is a brilliant footballer, yes, but he's not a hold-up target, man. Plays about 6 years after a £90 million switch, and he resorted to trying to mould him into the next Peter Crouch. And clearly Marcus Rashford is a bit upset.
Marcus Rashford is considering his future. He's concerned about his lack of game time. Source close to Man United forward tells me he's always been professional, but he wants clarity. His current Manchester United deal runs out in June 2023.
Marcus Rashford is considering his future. I'm sorry, so is everyone else. This was a Manchester Blood and Thunder derby, and the club were without Cristiano Ronaldo, Edison Cavani, Anthony Martial, and he who must not be named. And you still couldn't get into the starting 11? No, I'm sorry, Marcus, you can blame Ralph all you like. We can both sit here and pretend he's got the tactics of Craig Shakespeare, that he's a motivational wet pizza, and that he was in the wrong for not picking you. But I'm sorry, you were a match winner at the Etihad as a teenage boy. This can very well be your stage if you put the work in. I mean, do you not think that Rangnick knows full well that you have the capability to be a top-class footballer? I'm convinced you were left out of the team because your form has largely been stuffed down the kitchen sink. Okay, fine. It happens. But then come on as a substitute with a point to prove. Choosing to stroll around like a 4-year-old child in Peter Pan world, where was the energy, the ability to fight for the ball? I don't get it. This man is already a British icon. For example, how many 24-year-olds on planet Earth have a political mural splashed across a wall? You have an entire country willing, backing you to succeed. You've got the opposite press of Raheem Sterling at your age. I mean, even Barack Obama has probably got a framed photo of you on his kitchen wall. You are the modern day Willy Wonka, who probably carries sandwiches in his pockets at all times, just in case you run into a hungry little boy. I mean, this isn't that we hate Marcus Rashford video, no! But your attitude this week has been utterly wet garbage. Both he and Jesse Lingard entered the fray and just walked. The two barely broke sweat. That is embarrassing. Yes, both of them. I'm sure they'd gladly shove a bread knife into Rangnick's eye. I'm guessing these two multi-millionaire superstars are defended by the fact that Germany's answer to Statman Dave has largely ignored them. I mean, they've got a combined 21 million followers on Instagram. What do you think that does to someone's ego? But you know what the best way to get back at Rangnick is? Run around, stick in a tackle, show the crowd he was wrong to leave you out. But all you've done by just strolling around as if you're wearing an invisible school bag filled with rocks is just prove him right. And I'm sorry, Lingard, his head is gone. I mean, surely, this is a man who does not want to be a Manchester United employee anymore. So sticking him in a Manchester United shirt for a derby day, even for 10 minutes, is like a lifeguard at a swimming pool, you know, handing in his 2-week notice. For the next fortnight, he's going to be sitting in that chair, daydreaming about that 6-month trip to the Alps, you know, while little Tommy and Fred drown in the shallow end. Lingard is a one-way footballer who last month was giving time off his job, you know, as if he'd just given birth to a baby. But no, he wasn't breastfeeding some little brat in the bath. He was just sulking about not getting a move to Newcastle. That is not the character you need in a Manchester derby. I'm gonna say it. Look at Manchester United's FA Youth Cup winning team from 2011. But both Pogba and Lingard played in this match. Both of them showed the hunger and work rate of two concussed badgers. But here is one Manchester United alumni who would have done a better job on that pitch. Ravel Morrison. Yeah, I know he's 29 years of age and on the brink of relegation to League One, but this man, under his idol Wayne Rooney, he is reborn. Did anyone see his masterclass for Derby County against Barnsley at the weekend? I mean, this was a must-win pressure cooker of a game at the bottom of the championship, playing for a club who could well go out of business. I'm sorry, that was a much bigger game than the Manchester Derby. I mean, when he goes into Derby training every day, all he has to do is look at the janitor or the lunch ladies. If he doesn't perform, they could very well all have to sell their house and go live on the street. So that is pressure. And yet, for the first goal, he dummies the ball through his legs, plays a 1-2 and chips the Barnsley keeper, like a mini Ronaldinho. Later he smacks the crossbar from 30 yards, and then belts in a half volley to wrap up the match. I know it was only Barnsley, but no. Let's talk about the attitude. Lingard was always supposed to be the happy-go-lucky type, who knuckled down and grafted right, while Morrison was apparently the off-the-rails party boy, who used to spend his Wednesday nights drinking vodka out of a shoe, some unpredictable rude boy, who used to listen to N-dubs by day, and shave off the genitals of cats by night. Well, I'm telling you right now, playing for a team, deducted 21 points and fighting for their lives at the foot of the championship, you need to have an elite mentality. A hunger to just do the job and fight. I think we all know that Morrison has more natural ability and talent than Lingard. I mean, you might think that's mental, that a guy who just failed at Adult Den Haag under Pardew is a naturally better footballer than someone who scored for England at a World Cup. I mean, to be fair, there are similarities here. Both Lingard and Morrison were loaned to Birmingham. They both represented Derby County and were both given a Premier League lifeline at West Ham, which they both took. They're also little kids who came through together at Fletcher Moss Rangers. But Lingard's attitude right now is that of a sulking Draco Malfoy. So right now, I am telling you that this version of a hungry Morrison would have been a better option on that pitch than Jay Lings. I know it sounds mental, but it's true. Rashford wants a move, but where is he gonna go? Marcus, I'm gonna pay you a compliment here, which you're probably gonna take as an insult. But here goes. You, good sir, are as good a footballer as Jermaine Defoe. That is your ceiling. Again, for a monster ego, Manchester United, that probably sounds like I just compared you to a walking dustbin, right? But no, respect Defoe. I mean, I know you've got 12 million followers, well, that old man's got 500,000. So this probably seems like a massive insult. But no, Defoe is a clinical goal poacher who wound up 9th in the all-time Premier League goal scoring charts. And yet also spent the peak years of his career at Tottenham, Portsmouth and Sunderland. I mean, he's going to end his career with just one Champions League start to his name. And I know Rashford is a guy who's been belting in last-minute penalties at PSG, while Defoe's European record is just bullying the likes of Hearts and Shamrock Rovers. But I don't care. There is no shame in being the next JD. But as well, this is a guy who stuck 5 past Premier League opposition in one half. Can anyone really see Rashford doing that? Honestly, I think as players, Rashford and Defoe are very similar, and also their legacy is always going to be for what they did off the pitch. And honestly, there is no shame in that. Honestly lads, reality check. If you leave Man United, forget the paper talk, you're not getting a move to Barcelona. I don't care what Phil Neville says, you are not even a third of the player Kylian Mbappe is, so just forget it. You are the modern day Danny Ings. So, you're not going to get any better offers than Aston Villa or West Ham, or playing in a front three with Callum Wilson and Alisson Maximin. Actually, that sounds like a pretty good front three. But honestly, every single Manchester United player, they all need a reality check, because none of them are as good as they think they are. It's just a fact. Anyway, that's what it is. Well, what do you think? Alright, let me know in the comment section below if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.